Oh, hello boys and girls. So we're back for another week on the Nova. This week I have some assistants.
Hi.
Hi. She is currently working on trying to figure out how to put the partial tray cover in. She just vacuumed it out because that was all covered in dust. So this week the plan is to get the interior kind of put together. So she's working on the package tray right now. I got new seats from Procar. See, it's still wrapped in plastic. Oh, but maybe. Hang on. New seats from Procar. Low back buckets, because while these ones don't look bad in the car, these are also made by Procar. The base is not wide enough for my hips because these on the inside come like straight up and not very comfortable at all. So switched it up, went with the low back buckets. Whew, I didn't even realize they got pockets on the back. That's cool. So far the one on the driver's side of the Nova has been fairly comfortable. I'm kind of happy with that. We'll get to that here in a second though. New door panels. The new radio, I'll show you that here in a second too. It's installed in the trunk. New dash panel insert, which looked great. And then I went to start fitting gauges in it. Yeah, that's a problem. Luckily, one of her co-workers is working on that for me. New armrests. We got door seals and stuff to put on too. So, and as you can see, some things have changed since the last time you guys saw it, namely the wheels. Something you can't see is the tune on the computer, because I believe my last video ended with me pulling this out of the garage and going, it runs and drives. Well, it kind of did. That video, the ending of it was a bit of a lie. I didn't realize it at the end of that video that it was a lie, but it was a lie. Because that video ended with, well, we'll go for a drive after I get the alignment done. The alignment's still not done and it's a week later. The computer was tuned wrong. My buddy that had his buddy tune the computer for me thought we said I was putting a TH400 in the car. So he locked out all the transmission controls. I have a 4L60. I need those transmission controls. So this has actually got the computer that was meant for the Impala in it, which was a 5.3 4L80 computer, but that was a computer they had with them and they don't live in town with me, so they retuned it to a 5.3 with a 4L60. Yes. It was supposed to be a 5.3 4L80. Now it's a 5.3 4L60 computer. It's been in the car now for about a week. I've driven it back and forth to work the last few days. Drove it around town a little bit. So far it's ran and drove great, other than the fact that the alignment's crap. But that gets fixed tomorrow. So hopefully by the end of this video, the interior will be done. The alignment will be done. This car will run and drive and stop. Which it runs, drives, and stops fine right now. So I'm happy with it. It's been amazing to drive it. I've put about 35, maybe 40 mile on it so far. And it's ran great the entire time. We still do have some computer things to work out. He didn't get all the emissions stuff shut off, so it's throwing codes for the emissions stuff, but that's all it's throwing codes for. Everything else seems to be fine. So it's running good. It's driving decent. The brakes work really well. So the last time you guys saw it, I believe it had the Firebird wheels on it, which were the ones I intended to run. I had zero intentions of taking these back off the car because I like the look of them. They're a nice wheel. They obviously now have brand new tires on them. But we had joked, me and my buddy Lucas had joked around before I lowered the car about how these wheels would look on it. And we put them on while the car was still at stock ride height, and I kind of hated it. Like, I didn't like the way it looked. I was like, it looks like an old car trying to not be an old car. And that was the end of it. I didn't put them back on again. Well, with it being lowered, he made a comment the other day. He's like, you know, you really should try the other wheels again. He's like, I have a feeling with it being lowered, it's gonna look really good. And I was like, no, you're wrong. It ain't gonna look all that good. They don't fit the look of the car. And well, somebody and him proceeded to give me crap to try them again. So I did. I threw 2 of them on, and I'm, oh no, that actually looks good. And
the wife was right.
Yeah, she was right. But they rubbed in the front pretty bad. So I was like, well, all right. I got to look at it. I think I got a 1-inch spacer on there already. I don't know if I can get thinner and be adapters still. And I looked at what I ordered, and I had 1 1/4 that I had ordered. Like, all right. So I ordered a 1-inch spacer for the front, because these wheels are 5x114. The car is 5x127, which is 5x4 3/4. Instead of 5x4.5. So I put the 1-inch ones on it, and now I have essentially, I'm going to call it like 95% of my steering before I rub the fenders, which is plenty, because that means I'm only really rubbing it just before full lock, and I can live with that. So they went on the car. I've been driving it with them on it. I keep getting lots of compliments about how these wheels look on the car, and it's like, God dang it, why does everyone have to like these? Given it's my car, if I really like the Firebird wheels better, I'll end up putting them back on. But for now, this look is growing on me. And I will admit, with the Firebird wheels, I couldn't fit anything wider than a 215 and be comfortable. These have got 235s on them all the way around, and they fit perfectly fine. I've got 1-inch spacers coming from the wheel for the rear to suck the rear in. I think with the 1-inch spacers in the rear instead of the 1 1/4, I could probably run a 245 and have even more meat out back, and then maybe drop the front to a 225 just to give me a little bit more tire clearance and actually get it to where I have all of my steering. So these may be the wheels that live on the car. Eventually I would like to get a proper set that bolt on correctly and just get rid of the spacers altogether with the right offset and stuff. But for now, they work, and I'm happy. And at that rate, these are like a 40 plus 45 back spacing. So I mean, I've got tons of options there now with these wheel adapters that I can run pretty much any kind of like front wheel drive 5x114 wheel, and it should fit, which is kind of a nice option to have, because that really opens up wheels. And as she can testify, I'm a bit of a wheel whore.
I don't have to testify, just look at the side room.
That's we don't talk about the side room. Yeah, because I mean, everything's got wheels on it. I mean, this technically right now has 2 sets, and it don't even have a set on it. So, which also means the Cadillac's got 2 sets, which means there's 3 sets between those 2 cars. Perfect. All of which happen to fit the Nova too. Yeah, so we're slowly making some progress on some things. But yeah. Oh yeah, let's get back to what we were talking about before. Show you, I decided, so a smart person would put the radio, you know, somewhere inside the car, but I really don't want to try cutting the hole here for the radio, because, well, it's going to be a tight squeeze, and if I don't cut the hole in just the right spot, it's not going to fit. So I don't want to cut this. This was 360 bucks. I thought about mounting it, but I also didn't like any of my options for that because I didn't like the way it looked. So, and well, a guy's just not really fond of the like modern radio look in a classic car like this. So he came up with an alternative. We're just gonna slot her right there, which means I have no controls in the car for the radio. but this radio uses an app on your phone, and you can control volume, music, everything on that from your phone. So that works perfectly fine for me. It's the same thing I have in the Cadillac. It works great. So, and to a degree, it kind of makes some of the wiring simpler, because if I put an amp and a sub in here, I've got to go like nowhere with it. It's literally all right here. Power and ground will come literally straight to the battery, and that means I've got to run speaker wire to the front and the trigger wire to turn it on to the front, and that's it. Everything else is right back here in the trunk and done. So, and speaking of front speakers, so I'm not going to cut my door panels. I don't like that idea. So I came up with this yesterday, and this thing is just a wonderful feat of engineering, let me tell you. Right here, this is what's going to go up under the dash in the factory speaker hole location. I cannot figure out where I put the factory speaker when I took it out yesterday, so I can't show you that. Matter of fact, it's probably over here somewhere, and I don't feel like looking in that disaster, so we're not going to. But that held one speaker. Actually, I think it was two speakers in one housing. It's kind of an odd shape, and to buy a replacement for that off of eBay or anywhere was like $150 to $200. I'm not spending that. I'm just not doing it. So I had these two 4x8s laying up there on the shelf, and I got kind of creative, hacky. Flip it over here, you're gonna see there are a bunch of zip ties. This is fuel line or brake line, clamped around the magnet to hold them in place, zip tied around so they are not coming off, and then all zip tied to the factory mount. So this will go up underneath of the dash. They got about that much of an air gap between them and the bottom of the dash for the hole that's right there in the center. So they've got plenty of room to where the speakers aren't going to touch, and that's going to be my speaker setup for the front of the car. I think it'll work just fine for now. Eventually I might get one of the nice speaker setups to go in there, and eventually I might grow enough balls to cut holes in those door panels and actually mount them the right way, but that's not today, so we're not going to worry about that. And yeah, but we're going to do those. And then I got some 6.5-inch Boss Audio speakers that I've had laying around forever. I think we're going to try to put those in the rear deck lid, because we have finally hit the point where my car that doesn't really have a budget is kind of at the end of its budget, because I don't have a budget. So I'm going to start using some of the stereo equipment I got laying around, because it'll sound just fine. I mean, it's a Nova. I'm listening to the exhaust, not the radio. The radio is more of a creature comfort for her for all of Power Tour than it is for me, because I can listen to the exhaust the whole trip and be perfectly happy. Other people, though, for some reason, the idea of spending like, I don't know, probably 20 hours in the car with me, someone wants a radio.
There's only so much chit chat I can have.
Yeah. She can only talk to me for so long before we're both annoyed. And I don't blame her. I get annoyed listening to me talk too. Hey, so there was never a good point to actually film any of this so far. At least not what she was working on. She got the package tray in, waiting for the glue to dry, so we can then figure out how we're cutting the speaker holes. She pulled the side panels out because that was the only way to really get that in. We're hoping we can get this stuff back on and it'll all work okay. Meanwhile, I've been kind of fiddling with the door seals, and now like you have to slam that door to actually get it to shut because the seal is so good. She's fitting up the trunk seal right now. Not necessarily because like I'm worried about anything leaking or squeaking or anything like that. It's just we are going to have luggage in it for an extended period of time, and we don't know what the weather's going to be like for Power Tour exactly the whole time, because we're going to be in 5 states. Well, essentially 5 states. I guess we're really only going to be in 4. We're in one of them twice. So we're I'm trying to be prepared for all weather conditions, more or less. So, because I got the windshield wipers working. We got door seals on. This door, I think I need to actually adjust the striker in, because this one still shuts kind of soft. So I'm going to adjust the door striker back a little bit to kind of pull that in just a hair bit tighter. Could be maybe I need to move the whole door back some, but I'm not going to fight with that right now. I don't really want to mess with the door hinges, because the door hinges have never moved. Plus, I think they're welded in place, so I don't think I can move them anyway. But I can move this striker in just a fuzz and pull my door just a little tighter shut. So, matter of fact, I bet if a guy did it right. Oh! Now we make everyone cringe because I'm using, you know, a mini sledge on a Nova. Guy does it right. I bet he can just... a few whacks. Yeah. Let's see here. Hey, I can see far less light around the door seal now. I can still see some, but not like I could. So that's already better. Probably call that good enough. And she's almost got this installed. Yeah, you were right. I was putting it in wrong. That is tucked in there and staying in place way better than the way I had it. I had the trunk seal almost all the way in, and she looks at me and goes, I think you're putting that in wrong. Proceeds to peel it all out and then puts it in the right way, and go figure, now it stays in place better. So, shocker. This is why I don't do the little detail things and you do it, because you do it right and I do it fast. So, whatever. Gotta vacuum out the trunk too. There, maybe I'll go pick some fabric and you can glue some fabric down in the trunk too.
Fuck no.
Yeah, that was about the answer I expected. All right, she's out of the car, working on the door panel now. So far, there's not been any good way to really film anything she's been doing. There's not been anywhere to get stuff in, but you know. So that's the new door panel she's working with. She's trying to get the old one apart because the top metal piece has got to be reused from that door panel for this door panel. Not really keen on that, because I would have rather had door panels that were just finished, but I don't know if any of the door panels actually come finished that I could find online. And this was the cheapest option. So considering I think that had to be done regardless, it was a $200 set of door panels or a $400 set of door panels, we're going with that option. She is currently waiting on all of that to dry back there. I got some wiring I'm going to run here shortly, but I think before I even do that, I'm going to start on that seat bracket, which I don't know if I'm going to film me doing that or set the camera up and film her doing that. Either or, one of the two is happening after I get done talking. Put the new door seals in, so hopefully we're a little bit more weather resistant. She got the new trunk seal put in because she was doing a better job of that than I was. I started putting it in wrong, so she took it back out, put it back in right. This door seal seals up really well, like to the point like you used to be able to shut the door like that and it's shut. Now you have to actually put some force into it, so that's a hell of a lot better than it was sealing wise. Don't worry about me kicking that. We got new of those laying in the car. So yeah, I think I'm gonna set you guys up on a GoPro and let you watch her do her work while I figure out other stuff. it's trying to rain, so pulled the car inside. Got this pretty much done. I got to put one more speaker cover on yet. We've got the back speakers in. I haven't put the front speaker in yet, but I've got wiring ran for all of it now. Wiring ran back here. I have hooked the radio up and tested it. It does turn on. I don't know if I have any sound yet because, well, there's no speakers hooked to it. But I've got most of that wiring done. We almost have one door panel done. This got really tricky. And I'll show you some of what we did when we do the other door panel tomorrow. How does the front look? The front looks livable. Like, that looks freaking great. Don't take those off. Leave them on. Yeah, I can live with that. Like, we're still trying to figure out how exactly we're putting this back on. Because somehow this was stapled to the metal frame. I can't even begin to understand how that was done. We were talking about it. Maybe drill some tiny holes and a couple nails and bend them over and kind of replicate the staples that way. Yeah. So that one's gonna be trial and error for what we show you guys, and then I'll try to show you what we do on the other one tomorrow. But just a little bit more wiring before I've got at least a basic radio in here. I do want to put a subwoofer because I like, if I'm going to have a radio, I want bass. I like bass. So, and then after that, it pretty much just comes down, I need to clean up the trunk area. I really don't think there's anything stopping me from putting the back seat in now. I don't think so.
You got the speakers screwed in, so now...
Yeah. No, yeah, there's nothing stopping me. I think I can put the back seat in, which means then I can put your seat in. And this is theoretically complete interior as far as like creature comforts go. Right. Kind of. If you want to call seats a creature comfort. But oh, yeah, and then her coworker Al brought this back over. And the first one he made, just a simple little insert that clamps on with the tack. He's making me one, same thing for the speed. Sorry guys, battery died. Yeah, just a simple little clamp or mount that clamps on that adapts that from a 5-inch tack down to the 3 3/4 inch. He's doing the same thing for the Speedo because this insert's made for autometer gauges. And it's $360 for it, and it's really nice. It's a lie that it's carbon fiber because it's not. It's ABS plastic made to look like carbon fiber. Hang on, baby. And that Speedo alone, if you want one that's GPS, which is what I want because it involves way less wiring and configuring and worrying about gear ratios and stuff, is almost $600. The tack that fits that hole is like $250, if not more. So yeah, I can't. And they appear to be about the only company other than Jegs that makes Speedos that fit this thing. And even the ones that Jegs sell, they're not GPS. They're just, baby, please stop. They're just cable driven, which means I would have to try to adapt a cable to my 4L80E to get or my 4L60E to get a reading, which is not exactly a simple task. And by the time it's all said and done, I have about $500 into that setup. So versus this, Al's making me these, and basically I'm buying him dinner one day. And these gauges cost me, I think it was $160, and it's for all 5 of them. It was $160. So yeah, I'll live with it. Those adapter rings look nice. I got carbon wrap. If I really want to get fancy, I can wrap them in carbon wrap and make them blend in a little bit more. Good enough. But tomorrow we got to work on wiring that. After I get those off of Al, we'll work on laying that out, wiring it up. That way all I should have to do is hook signal wires up and power and ground the car, and then it should be done. So I got the big thing to figure out is if I'm just going to run separate power and grounds from what used to be the old harness for the gauge cluster, or if I'm going to try to tap into the gauge cluster for power, ground, and illumination. I don't know how far into that I want to go. We'll figure that out. But that turned out to be easier than I thought. I did a Google search, and literally the first picture that popped up was a picture of the plug, each wire numbered, and the number correlating to what that wire was in the plug. I have never gotten lucky enough to find a wiring diagram that simple and straightforward ever. Thank you, Google. So now I know what is my power, my ground, my illumination, my left and right turn signal, high beam, and my fuel sender unit. So I know what everything is now. Perfect. That's what I needed. And hopefully it all works. We'll find that out tomorrow. So it should just be a worst case scenario. I might not use the power and ground, but I'll probably use the illumination and the turn signals and all that stuff. I'll use all of that out of there, and then maybe use a different power and ground, just because I might wire those into the new fuse box I put under the dash, not the old fuse box. I'm trying to get as much stuff out of the old fuse box as possible with the new stuff that I'm wiring in, just because the old fuse box is the old glass fuses versus the fuse box I put in. It's spade, just the little spade fuses, so it's more up to date. And even though it's like a $20 fuse box off of like Amazon, it is probably still better than what is in the car factory. So because I have working headlights, taillights, turn signals, all that, so I don't want to overload the factory fuse box with more things that it doesn't need to deal with. So yeah, but we're getting close, getting really close. All right, I'm gonna climb in, get that finished for tonight, and I think that's where we're calling it quits. Tomorrow morning, after we get a little butt head on the bus, we're gonna go drop this off to get the alignment done. So I will bring you guys back when we pick it up from the alignment, and we'll go from there. So today has not went as planned at all. Nova's home. Long story. Neither door panel is entirely finished because we're having issues with the glue holding anything down. It's all being a bit of a nightmare, which I guess that was to be seen. This one is being far worse than that one. I think it's because today is like 90 degrees. The glue doesn't want to set right, and it's just been hot and humid. So hence the reason why I look humid. So there's that. We did take the scooters out for a little bit though and rode them around, so that made me feel better. This is looking freaking spectacular. So now I'm just waiting to hook it all up and find out half the gauges don't want to work. That'll be fun because that's the way my luck's going today. The Nova is home, the alignment's not done. And not just one shop later, but 3 shops later, the alignment's not done. Nowhere in this town can seem to align it because, well, they can't get their alignment machine attached to it. And that's because, well, apparently, you know, a decade ago, when you went to get an alignment and the alignment machine locked into the wheel and, you know, it aligned the car, and as long as they had 3 points of contact, they could do it, you were good. New alignment machines mount to the tire. Everywhere in town's got new alignment machines. And guess what you can't get to the top of on this now? Yep, you guessed it. You can't get it on the top of the tire, which means you can't align it. So I'm just going to throw this out there. If that sounds like technology went backwards to me. But hey, maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm just frustrated. Maybe. Or maybe I'm right and their stuff's junk now. Yeah, that appears to be the issue because nowhere in town's got like a $250,000 machine that can do a car in alignment. Yeah. I've been told of one shop that might be able to do it. I can't go there till tomorrow because they're not open anymore. It's after 5 o'clock. I found out all of this at like 4:45. Immediately went to 3 shops to try to set up something for tomorrow. Got told no at all of them because of that, and the one shop recommended one place, but that was right at 5 o'clock. So yeah, fun day. So I think what's going to happen now is me, myself, and I, a couple jack stands I got over there, and some string on the tape measure are going to get a little tricky with making sure the car's sitting in a square and just aligning it the old school hard way, the fun way, not really fun way. I can't set caster that way, which is kind of I guess neither here nor there. I'm going to look up online and see if I can figure out how to do that, because I particularly myself do not know how to do it. But I know shimming the upper control arms differently front to back will change the caster angle to a degree on these, and then the more shims you put in or take out will also change camber, so you can kind of change them both at the same time. And toe again is kind of a and toe is the one I'm having problems with. Caster I think I can figure out. Camber I know I can figure out. It's the toe I'm having problems with just because of how low the car is. So yeah, I'm gonna look it up, see like where I can take a measurement off of as far as caster goes, and like maybe how many degrees I need to have. See if I can use, because I got a camber tool. I'm pretty sure if you set it one way it does camber, you set it another way it does caster. If it's even down here in the drawer right now. Yeah, camber. I thought like if you set it like, if you put it on this way, I think you can check camber. If you set it on this way, I think you can check caster. Maybe that's how that worked. I can't remember. Yeah, I've watched a few videos on how to use that, so I got a rough idea on how to use that. The thing I'm running into problems with though, as far as setting toe, is getting 2 spots on the wheel at the same location, front and back, to measure toe. I got to see if I've got a couple decent-ish. Matter of fact, there's a piece of wood right there. I may just cut up and make it work. See if I can make two plates to put on either side of the car to make sure they're flat against the wheel and flat on the ground, and you know, measure off of them all across the floor, and that will give me numbers that I can use and go from there and set toe. So, but yeah, the bad part is, all right, boys and girls, today has been a bit of a blur. Started with me and the wife took the Nova to try to go to breakfast this morning, which went successfully until she forgot her phone at the restaurant. We had to turn around and go back, and when we went back, I went a different route, went over a speed bump, and pulled the driver's side of the exhaust off of the car because I caught the speed bump with it. Then called my buddy Seth, which you guys have seen in a couple of videos at this point, and asked him to come rescue me because I didn't have any tools or anything with me. And being the friend that he is, he did. He didn't question it one bit. He hopped in his car, headed over, brought a jack and some tools. Well, on his way there, he literally was getting ready to turn into the parking lot where we were sitting, and the clutch master cylinder went out on his Camaro. So it turned in from a rescue mission for my car to a rescue mission for his car, and we spent about half the day fixing the clutch master cylinder in his Camaro, which, by the way, if you have a 3rd gen Camaro that's a 5-speed and you plan on to LS swap it, put a new clutch master cylinder in while you're at it, because once everything's in, it is a nightmare to get to, and it is literally a 2-person job. So yeah, just make sure you do that, because it's a hell of a lot easier when there's no engine in the way. And then after that, we spent some time today. We finished up the exhaust. The exhaust now comes all the way out the back of the car, and I honestly, I like where it comes out at. I think it looks good. I think it sounds good. If it wasn't like 1 o'clock in the morning, I'd start it. The door panels and everything are now on the car. They turned out great. Both of them did. Honestly, the interior is looking fantastic in it now. As you can see, there's still a big hole there, but that's because, well, I'm working on fitting and finishing this up, and that's what I'm going to be finishing tonight, is the gauge cluster, which I think, oh, excuse me, guys. I think in general is looking great. I am a little disappointed in the fact I had to sit here with a grinder and shave this side down, and it's still not perfect now because of it, until I could finally get it to fit in the dash. This side fits up great. All the way to about here fits really well, and then from here over it had, like, I've taken off maybe 1/8 of an inch, if not more, off of this side to get this to fit into the car. And I probably should save some right here, and I just haven't done it. It hasn't seemed like it affects it very much, so I haven't worried about it. But it blows my mind at how kind of poorly it fit. Like, it just, and it was almost as if they just didn't finish it. So that was kind of a bummer to have to sit there and literally take a grinding disc to a $360 piece to get it to fit right. But at the end of the day, I guess it is what it is. It's a risk you take when you're buying a part like this, that you're going to have to do something like that to, like, get the fit and finish on point. So I'm not going to complain too much. It is what it is, but it'll fit when it's done. All right, so here we go. We've got gauge power. Let's go through the list here. This is flashing because the car's not started. If I start the car and rev it a little bit, it comes up. I'm not sure I'm leaving this gauge in. I do like the other one I have better, and since they all light up red, I can switch them out and it wouldn't be that noticeable. This, I haven't warmed the car up, so I'm not 100% sure that one's working. But again, if it doesn't want to work, I got another one to switch it out with. This one, I believe I put the wrong resistor with it, so it's not wanting to read right now either. But I think that's a fault of me. The first time I started this up, this was flashing GPS. And then it went to this, and it's kind of stayed at this since. So I'm hoping that means this is synced and working. My volts is reading great, so that gauge is definitely working fine. And I think I need to run a new signal wire. I don't think the signal wire in the car is working. The stock gas gauge read E all the time too. So I'm thinking that wire's busted somewhere. I should have known that, and honestly, I was debating on running a new wire for that anyway and didn't. So that's my own fault. But on the other side of things, I turn on my turn signal, it flashes. Turn it on the other way, flashes. My high-low beam one's not working, but that could be because I don't have the headlights on. Yep, I turn the headlights on, that comes on. So that's wired properly. So all that's wired right. I've got power going to everything. I think this is the only one I need to do some definite rewiring on. And there we go. I've had a lot of people tell me so far that they know the story of the car, that it was my grandpa's car and stuff, and that he would be happy to see it back on the road. And I really hope that's true. It's been a lot of work to get to this point, and I'm not gonna lie, a lot of stress, because I kind of at this point feel like I intentionally picked this car for Power Tour, not just because of its meaning, but because I think if I wouldn't have picked it for Power Tour, I wouldn't have got it going. So it has been a very long, hard road, even though it's only been really a month to get to this point. And I can't be thankful enough for the couple people that have lent me more than one or two hands to get this thing going. Seth and Brady have been amazing help. Seth has been over here anytime he has a free minute to help me turn some wrenches, and Brady has been on Facebook Messenger with me, going over every little detail of every piece of wiring that we both understand, and been getting me help with the computer and all of that stuff, and just been just awesome moral support. And then my buddies Austin and Lucas have been, anytime that they've been around and I've needed a hand, they've not questioned it. They've dived right in, got their hands dirty, and helped me get things done. And it's been awesome. My buddy Chris for just randomly going, "Hey, I found you a drive shaft." Like, I didn't ask him to find it. We were just talking about it. I didn't think my stock one was going to work, and I told him what I thought I needed, and he called me like, I think it was like 10 minutes later that day, and told me, "Hey, I found you a drive shaft. You got to go pick it up at like this time." And it was like, it couldn't have worked out any better. The drive shaft was perfect. I mean, that's just how things have went so far, and I can't thank those guys enough for what they did to help me. Yeah. All right. I'm going to cut this video right here for the night because I am tired, and as you can tell, I'm getting emotional because I'm tired. It is 4 something in the morning. I think it's almost pushing 5 at this point. It is 4:30 in the morning. I am tired, and I'm going to go inside and sit down. Hopefully this video is going to wrap up here in another day or two with some driving footage of the car. I just got to find time to go out and do it. Thank you, guys. Slight change in plans. I had to go get the bolt, and apparently now we're going to go get lunch. Someone's hungry. So... figure I've not shot any... What?
The little door's still open.
Oh yeah, hey. Yeah, I can't shut that one from in here.
I'll get it. Since you can do the big one.
Yeah. I don't know how well you guys can hear it on camera. There is a small exhaust leak, which is mildly annoying, but it's fine for now. So, I figured I haven't shot any moving footage of it other than the one time of backing out of the garage, so maybe I should like film something, you know? So I didn't start turning soon enough. I don't have the driveway. Front tires rub, so if I go too crazy turning, all I'm going to do is tear them up on the fenders or tear the fenders up, and I really don't want to do either one. Apparently I threw the Suburban off that was behind us by, you know, moving. The radio whines. There's not really any reason for it. Unless it's got something to do with the fact that there's no antenna. I know sometimes I act as another grounding point, but... what do we think, Mom?
I'm still being skeptical.
That's fair. Me too. I still have that sense of like, is it going to start every time I hit the key? Even though since the first startup, it has yet to fail to start.
So I'm not concerned about that part. I'm concerned somewhere along the lines she's going to want to drop the exhaust again, or suspension, or a hose is gonna pop and just be like, yep, you're done.
Well, luckily all the hoses are new, so I don't think that's gonna be a problem. I hope not. The exhaust, this side of the exhaust is all welded together to the point where it can't come apart. What's holding it, the only thing the clamps are doing is sealing it. So I don't think that'll be a huge problem again, with the exception of the header, where I refuse to weld that because I'm not welding the whole exhaust permanently together from
Right.
header to muffler. The pipes, yeah, whatever, that's fine. But header sections, no. And I'm debating on just getting it high enough on one side at a time and full welding all of it and taking the clamps off. But I also know how I am with my welding, so the clamps are there to seal it, not necessarily do everything else.
Right.
Now, I think if I trim the nubs off the bottom of the clamps, I think a lot of the catching on thing problem goes away. Because, like, some of those have got like a 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch of thread hanging below the like lowest part of the chassis. So, yeah. All right, let's go in and get it bolts. All right, we got most of what we need to readjust both seats, but we gotta wait for 2 bolts to come in at what, 5 o'clock?
Yeah.
Yeah. Then, yeah. But like you were saying, you're still skeptical because, well, we've been together what,
Almost 21 years.
I was gonna say what, May 24th.
May 24th is our 17 years being married.
Yeah. And then we've been together just shy of 21.
Yep.
And this is the most you've really seen the car move outside of what, a couple weeks in high school?
Yep. And today has been the furthest I've ever rode.
Yeah, I
in
was
it.
gonna say, even when I had it going in high school, you never went anywhere with me in it. Because it was normally me just going to and from school.
Yep.
So, a matter of fact, I think even then, that's when you were doing some of your military stuff, so you weren't even around for a ton of it then.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like this has been the most she's seen this car move in 21 years. It's definitely the most it's moved in the last 18, 17,
yeah,
18.
17. Because it was just before I had Bub that.
Yeah, when the flywheel took a shit and I just stopped working on it altogether. You know, so it's been a long time coming. But that's what makes her skeptical, is because, well, we tried this before not that long ago. It was like right before Sis was born. I tried to get it on the road, and she convinced me to let a shop do a lot of the work. And it just kind of, nothing went right, we'll put it that way. I got it back from them, the engine didn't want to run right, and shortly after that, the passenger side head ate itself. The brakes were always kind of iffy, but that's because, well, they were drum brakes all the way around. God damn. I forgot this side of the road sucks. Then, you know, there's the fact that all the suspension was still original, so every bushing banged and clanged, and it wasn't what you wanted it to be for what it was supposed to be. And me and Ryan dropped the 400 in it, what, shortly after all of that.
Yep.
And the 400 lasted, well, I think I got, what, half a cruise night out of it, and even then it didn't seem like it was running right that night.
Yeah.
And I think I put 25 mile on it maybe with the 400 in it, and probably less than that with the 350 in it when we got it running that time. And I kind of gave up. I dropped it off my brother-in-law. He was supposed to do the LS swap, and well, life happened, so here we are. It is what it is. So it's been, I guess what, that all started, what, pretty much 2018, 2019, something like that.
Yeah.
So it's been 6 years getting to this point. It took me, if I would have just done it the first time myself, a month and a half, 2 months, really, to get to this point where it runs, drives, and does what it's supposed to. So shows when you care about it and you want it to work right. If you do it yourself, it's going to be done right. And, it's not always necessarily a good idea to put your faith in others to do the work for you, especially if you're trying to do it on a budget like I was at that point, because that same budget that got it to where I had a poorly running 400 and crap brakes and everything else, honestly, damn near could have done what I done now. So if I would have just looked more into it, and instead of assuming that doing it the way I did it now was going to cost too much money, then we would have been done. This would have been a driving car then. Yes, we took the Nova to the McDonald's.
Miles. That's what matters.
Yes. We're at 42. Woohoo! Roar. Make the roar. Yeah, 42 successful miles so far. I can live with that. All right, we're back at the house. It started raining. Yeah, it Ohio'd again. And it started raining as we were getting ready to leave McDonald's, and I was just more concerned with driving than I was with, you know, everything else. That is clearly letting water in back there. Good to know. And I know there's a couple spots back here probably doing the same. It also doesn't help that someone's foot may have gotten a little heavy in the rain. I don't know who would have done that, or yeah, definitely wasn't me. Someone else was doing burnouts in the rain. I would never, especially not with a daughter in the car. That would be rude. But the new taillights are here, so we're going to get the old ones pulled out because A, they need replaced, and B, they are driving the wife insane. She hates them because I have not cleaned the moss off of them from its setting yet. Like, it is still, like, you would not think I've actually been driving it the way it sets. Matter of fact, I have not washed the car. This is still from them setting out here with like scrub brushes and like, I think it was degreaser the one day, and just scrubbing everything off of the car. So it's not had a real bath yet. This is as close as it's gotten to a real bath. So yeah, I don't know why I shut that. We need in there. But yeah, let's go ahead and grab our new taillights. I'll get you guys thrown on the tripod. We'll actually try to do some work on camera for once this time. I know I've said that like 3 times now and it still hasn't happened. It's because every time I do, someone shows up, I get distracted, I don't film anything. Seth was even yelling at me the other day because we were doing stuff and he's like, why aren't you filming? I'm like, I forgot. I guess I don't have to go in and get them. She already grabbed them for me. Oh, I knew if I waited long enough that you'd just come out with them since you went in for stuff.
I know.
Are they shiny or are they pretty?
I don't know.
Oh, they're in a box.
I have only cut the box.
They're in a box in a box.
Next.
It's not fun to do one-handed because I do not want to drop these. I'll cry. Oh, it's pretty. I think that's for that side. Yeah, it's pretty. Hands down, the nicest part on the entire car.
The cleanest part on the car.
Damn sure the cleanest part on the outside of the car. The seats might be nicer. Although the seats, these will probably mount better than the seats do. Oh no. I'm probably gonna need to go get hardware. Neither box has any screws or anything in it, do they?
Nope.
Oh no, I gotta go get hardware. Darn it. Or I might be able to reuse the hardware from one of these. We'll find out. All right, after a little massaging of a bolt and then realizing it's the pocket that's out of shape. Specifically, this back corner was out of shape because, well, it's all kind of boogered up. This whole corner could stood to be replaced, and it probably will be at some point. That point's just not right now, though. It's in, it's mounted, and like I already kind of knew, this plug end is crap, this bulb is crap. So we're probably going right up to the auto parts store, see about a new plug, a pair of new bulbs, because I got a feeling I'm going to dig into this one and it's going to be no better than the other side is. So yeah, we're just going to knock it all out in one shot, make sure they're good, and hopefully it all work okay after that. So yeah. Am I going to go up to the store by myself? Or are you going with me?
Let me kill off this wipe first.
She's cleaning up the seals that I stupidly spray painted when I was like 14. All right, I did that off camera because, well, I didn't feel like trying to set a camera up in the trunk. Wiring is done. New plug is on. Whole tail light is working. That looks way better than that. Like, I mean, like, you can even tell the difference just like stepping back and looking at them. That is way better. I guess now we should get the other one done. Let's just try doing it the cool YouTuber way. And there we go. Done. Gotta love the power of YouTube. Ah, wind. So they're both done. They're both working. I've got tail lights, brake lights, turn signals. So we're good. That one I still want to replace the plug-in yet, but that won't be here till tomorrow. I'll get it then. She's currently working on cleaning up the trunk emblem I found in the trunk. Didn't realize I still had it anymore. Yeah, I didn't even realize I had it anymore, so I literally went, hey, that says Nova on it. These were shot. There's no other way around it. I got a feeling 90% of my problems I was having was the fact that these couldn't ground anymore and the plugs are dirty. So by the time all of that's changed, that should fix 99% of the grounding problems. I'm honestly debating if I don't need to do the same thing with the front turn signals. All right, so little update. I have went through and like double checked everything, made sure everything was tight, because right now we are setting at about 105 mile on it on the odometer, which means we're setting right around actually about 150 miles. So everything seems to be working good. Everything seems to be running good. We took a little time this morning. It's a little hard to see on camera, I think, maybe, at least on my little screen. Nah, maybe not. It's just sunlight on the other side. Yeah. Threw just a wee bit of the old patina sauce that I use on the green caddy on it, and boy, did the paint come back. It does not look bad. So we are getting ready to head to cruise night in it, and this is going to be the real test of the cooling system. So because it's going to be a lot of stop and go and a lot of just idling around. So if it can handle this tonight, I think we'll be fine for power tour. And I gotta say, I know we're only like not even 200 mile in yet on this thing, but it has very much shown that it wants to be a reliable car at this point. There's not much left that can kind of go wrong, outside of maybe some electrical stuff. And I'm just really happy with it at this point. Like, I can't complain. It has become the car I always knew it could, and it's only getting better, because the more I drive it, it seems like the happier the computer and tune gets. Because if I understood right, they self-adjust a little bit, and I think the more I drive it, the more it self-corrects, and the more it self-corrects, the better it seems to get. Man, that roof is just shiny. So pretty happy I went ahead and put the patina sauce on it. I wasn't going to earlier, and then we just kind of said screw it and put it on, because I'll be honest with you, I debated on wrapping the hood with a carbon fiber wrap I have, but now that the patina sauce is on it, that is kind of a no-go. And now that it's dried a little bit, I can see some bare spots in my saucing. So, because now it's a lot drier than it was earlier. This fender could probably use a fresh coat, but I also just think it's the primer underneath. Just maybe it's the primer on top, actually just not liking it. So it is what it is. All right, enough rambling. We're gonna go to cruise night. I'm gonna set you guys up. Well, probably just hand you guys on the selfie stick to the wife and let her record some stuff. Well, here's how cruise night's going. We made what, a lap and a half?
Yeah.
And the power steering line decided to leave the chat, so that's a bit of a problem. Got Seth, of course, is on the rescue mission. He's going to go get us some tools to see if we can get this thing back together, and then possibly maybe limp it to the house to change the fitting or something if need be. So I'm just trying not to move any farther, even though I'm kind of in a no parking zone, because, well, I don't want to burn the pump up and have to change it like the week before power tour, or try to get one in tonight to fix it tonight, because I doubt that the store's going to have one, knowing my luck. So yeah, this is kind of where we're at. I'll bring you guys back when there's something more to show. Yay. It's been doing so good. Dang it. Oh well. Alright, I'm shutting up. We'll be back. Well, thanks to that power steering line, cruise night did turn into a bit of a fiasco, and we didn't really end up filming anything. We just kind of tried to enjoy the rest of the night after I got the car fixed. And yeah, I've since fixed the power steering line, put about another 50 mile on the car. No real issues. Hi, butthead. I know you want to be on camera. But overall, it's kind of working. I think we are at where we're going to be for power tour. I am taking it to a car show tomorrow morning that's out of town, just to try to get some miles on it, like just consistent driving, you know, 55, 60, see how it's going to act and go from there. And fingers crossed it goes okay, because Dad's got a lot of driving to do in it, doesn't he? And I'm ready to take it on power tour. I've honestly, it's not even that I'm ready for power tour. I'm just ready to enjoy this car. It's been 18 years, and the most I ever got to enjoy the car, I was closer to her age than I am to my own age now. So I'm ready to put some miles on it. I'm ready to make some memories for myself with it, and maybe some for another tiny butt too, where we actually do something with this thing other than it just sitting in the driveway. Because we took it to get ice cream the other day, didn't we? Right. And that was that turned into something rather hard for me, actually. Go play, baby. Because we were sitting there, we were eating ice cream, and I looked at the car, and I looked at her, and I took a picture, and it dawned on me that was the first time this car has carried a kid to go get ice cream since I was roughly her age. About, well, a little bit older. I was about 9 or 10. And that was the last time this car had actually hauled a kid somewhere. Mom's home? Okay. So yeah, that was a weird one. Because that was me just slightly older than her with my grandpa driving. But yeah, all right, enough of that. Thank you guys for watching. Hopefully the next video you see on it will be it power tour. Right? Hopefully.
Yeah.
Bye, guys.